Hello, welcome all. So today's topic is all about Form MGT-14 requirements. So in this video, I'll walk you all through with for which resolutions or say agreement Form MGT-14 is required to be filed. Then what are the timelines for filing the form? Then most important and most confusing topic for the professionals, that is exemptions, or for which resolutions private company are not required to file MGT-14. So I'll take this topic in detail so it will resolve all your queries. Then next, other exemptions which are available to NBFCs and housing finance companies. Then the penalty part, and lastly act reference. So I'll focus more on the private companies part, that is for which resolutions it is required to be filed MGT-14 and for which it is exempted. So be in the video until the end. One more thing, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe it and please click on the bell icon button so that you don't miss any important video. So let's start. So first, for which resolutions or agreement MGT-14 is required to be filed. This is for both private company as well as public company. Okay. So first, special resolution. So for every special resolution passed at AGM or EGM, we have to file MGT-14 and we have to attach special resolution along with explanatory statement. Okay. Now next, resolutions which would have become effective only if it has been passed as special resolution. So any resolution which is approved by either all the members, but it becomes, if it is not approved by all the members or it is not approved as a special resolution, then it won't be effective. For every such resolution, we have to file MGT-14. Okay. Next, resolutions or agreements for appointment, reappointment, or for the variation in terms of appointment. That means variation in terms of appointment means variation in the salary part or say perquisite part or the tenure part of managing director. In such case, we have to file that resolution or the agreement for such appointment or variation with MGT-14 form. Okay. Next, resolutions or agreements which is agreed by any class of members, but if it is not agreed by such class of members, would not have become effective unless it is approved by the specific majority. Okay. So here specific majority comes, we can consider it as a special resolution only. So what is the number of members approval required for passing special resolution? We will consider this type of resolution as special resolution, and for such type of resolution we have to file MGT-14 form. I have prepared a separate short on what is the meaning of special resolution and ordinary resolution, what number of approval if required for ordinary and special resolution. I have mentioned the link for that short in the description box. Next, resolution for voluntary winding up of under the IBC, that is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Okay. Next, any other resolution as may be prescribed. That means if in particular section of the Companies Act it is mentioned to file MGT-14, so any other resolution, okay, and placed in the public domain, that is which is available to the public easily, okay, that which is open for the public. Such type of resolutions we have to file MGT-14. So for all these resolutions, this is applicable and mandatory for public as well as private company both to file form MGT-14. Now what is the timeline? Timeline is within 30 days of passing the resolution. This resolution either in case of general meeting or say board meeting. So now next point is what are exemptions, or for which type of resolutions MGT-14 is exempted from filing by the private companies. Okay. So I just want to highlight again, for all these resolutions there is no exemption to private company. That means private company are mandatory required to file MGT-14 within the timelines along with the fees. Okay. For this type of resolutions MGT-14 is not required for the private companies. So I'll also give the reference under which has mentioned that private companies are exempted from filing MGT-14 in the last part of the video. Okay. So all the resolutions passed under section 179 subsection 3, that means power with the board of directors for approving particular business item. Okay. So first, to make calls for unpaid money to the shareholders, that is in case of unpaid money on the share application, for resolution passed for this particular, for making call, it is exempted from filing MGT-14. So here it is mandatory for a public company. There is no exemption to public company from filing MGT-14. I am highlighted this only resolutions which are exempted for private companies from filing MGT-14. Next, to authorize buyback of securities. So this means resolutions for these items. Okay. Next, to issue securities including debentures in or outside India. Okay. Next, to borrow money. Next, to invest funds of the company. Next, to grant loan, guarantee or security in respect of loan. So I have prepared one separate video on loan to directors and the scenario in case of public company and private company. I have mentioned the link in the description box. You can check that detailed video. It will surely helpful to you. Next, to approve financial statement and the board report. That means resolution for approval of the financial statement and the board report of the company. Next, to diversify business of the company. Next, to approve amalgamation, merger or reconstruction of the company. Next, to take over, acquire or control in another company. That is resolution for approving takeover, acquisition or the control in the another company. Next, to make political contribution. Next, to appoint or remove the KMP, that is key managerial personnel. Next, to appoint internal auditor and the secretarial auditor. That means resolution for approval of appointment of this internal auditor or secretarial auditor. So this are list of resolutions for which MGT-14 is not required or say exempted for the private companies. So these are the board resolutions. Okay, this is the list. However, in case if the company is also required to take approval of the members via passing special resolution, in such case for that particular item or say business item, special resolution MGT-14 is mandatory to be filed by the private company for the special resolution passed by the company. Okay, for this board resolutions it is exempted. For the public company, it is mandatory to file MGT-14 for all the resolutions which are mentioned here. And last, which I wanted to highlight it, if in any particular act section there is mention that the private company is required to file MGT-14, even it is falling under this list, then private company is mandatory required to file MGT-14 for that business. For example, in case of private placement of securities, there is specifically mentioned that the private company is required to file MGT-14 for issue of securities in case of private placement. It is particularly mentioned in the rule for that private placement. So in that case, MGT-14 is required to be filed even though it is falling under this exemption resolutions. Okay, I have prepared a detailed video on the private placement of securities which is highlighting private company and public company both the requirements. You can check the link in the description box. Exemptions which are available to non-banking finance company and housing finance company. So NBFC or HFC which are approving or passing any resolution with respect to granting loan, security or guarantee in respect of the loan, and the main business of that housing finance company or NBFC is to grant the loan, that is it is in ordinary course of business. In such case, for such resolution it is not required to file MGT-14. Okay. Next, penalty part. In case there is contravention of filing MGT-14 within the timelines, then the penalty which will be levied on the company is 10,000 rupees for that particular failure, and in case there is continuous failure, the penalty will be rupees 100 per day, which will be maximum up to 2 lakhs rupees, and for the every officer in default rupees 10,000, and in case of continuous default rupees 100 per day up to rupees 50,000. Okay, so if you still have any query or confusion regarding whether for particular resolution it is required to file MGT-14 or not, either in private company or in public company case, I'll suggest, if you are not having clarity or it is not clear by reading act, I'll suggest to file MGT-14, because doing more compliance there is no harm. But in case due to some misunderstanding or due to lack of clarification, if you miss to file MGT-14 and there was requirement of filing MGT-14, then the penalty amount is huge. Form filing fees is very much less, and doing more compliances there is no harm. Okay, so always better to doing more compliances in case there is non clarification. Okay, next. Now, Act reference. So, Section 117 gives the provisions relating to filing Form MGT-14. Section 179, that is power with the Board of Directors for passing resolutions. And the most important, where the private companies are given exemption from filing MGT-14 for that particular resolution. So, MCA via notification dated June 5, 2015. In that notification, point number 8, it is mentioned that section 117, that is under which MGT-14 is required to be filed, subsection 3, point number G. So this particularly shall not applicable to private company. That means this is the gives the list of resolutions which are 179, which are section 179 power available to board resolution, which we have discussed in the earlier part of the video. So I have mentioned the link for this notification in the description box, so you can simply check from that. One more thing, if in case, for example, issue of security, say issue of debentures, okay, so it is power under board of directors, and for that private company is not required to file MGT-14. However, if AOA, that is Articles of Association, is not permitting for issue of debentures, and that private company is required to amend the articles, and for that special resolution is required to be passed, then for amendment of AOA and for that special resolution, it is mandatory to require file MGT-14. Okay. So even though for that particular board resolution it is exempted, however, for doing something, for say in link of the particular business item, SR is required to be passed, then in such case MGT-14 is mandatory filed by private company. So I hope it is clear. If you still have any queries, please write in the comment section. Stay connected for more videos. Bye.